Hi all, welcome to part 18 module 2 computer networks. So what we were discussing in part 17 is the Aloha protocol, the very first media access control protocol. So now we move on to its efficiency derivation, but before watching this video please watch part 17 to understand what is this Aloha protocol. So I assume that right now you have that clear understanding about the protocol. So now we move on to the efficiency derivation. So in other words, what we are trying to see, what fraction of all transmitter frames escape collisions under the chaotic circumstances. Chaotic circumstances in the sense, in Aloha what is happening, without any prior checking, you are simply sending the data. So chances of collision is very high, right? So only few frames will escape, and you can assume a very good probability of collision. Now we are going to see what is the probability that the frame is not getting collision. So that is going to determine the efficiency of the protocol, right? So for the efficiency part, we don't want to know about the collision side. So I am saying that like 80% of the frames are going to get collided. That makes the inefficiency of the protocol. So remaining 20% is going to define the efficiency. So our goal is to derive an expression for the efficiency. Now, let's first consider an infinite collection of users typing at their terminals. So this is on an assumption when it comes to the derivation, that the number of users you can assume to be infinite, right? Yeah. Now, given any user, they will be either in a typing or in a waiting stage. So typing means whenever they complete typing a single line of information, they will start sending it. And when they are sending that information, if there is collision, because before sending there is no carrier sensing, nothing, simply they will send the information, immediately the typing is over. So once they send the information, if it get collided, then they will wait, and how the waiting will be determined, the random, right, the random period of time that waiting will be done. So that is what we seen. So we assume the users are in two state, either in typing or in waiting stage. So as soon as they complete their typing, they are having the information to be communicated, and they will start sending it. If it collided with someone else data, then it will wait for some random amount of time. So that is another state of any user in the system. So initially all users are in a typing state, because so like that we can assume, so to have our efficiency derivation. Now whenever a line is finished, whenever a line of information is finished, the user stops typing and transmits a frame containing that particular line of information over the shared channel to the central computer. So that is also something we assumed, that the communication is through a central hub, a common computer, and everybody will be sent into the central computer, and from there it will be forwarded to, it will be broadcasted to the destination, and checks whether the underlying channel to see if the transmission is successful or not, or whether it reached the central server or not. How it can check? Whenever the central server is getting it, it will be broadcasting. So once the broadcast message is coming back, it can check whether it is my data or not. In that way, it can determine whether the communication is successful or not. So if it is successful, that is if so, in the sense if it is successful, the user sees the reply and goes back to typing stage, because it can now generate the remaining information, right? But if it is not successful, the user continues to wait while the station transmits the frame. So if the is successful, then it will go back to typing, but if it is a failure, they will continue in the waiting stage while the station retransmits the frame. Retransit which station? The central hub, right? So when the central hub retransits the frame, and they will get a as it is broadcasting, they will get a copy of it, and in that point they can determine that their communication is successful. Till that they will keep on waiting. So that is again random amount of time. After that again they will repeat the process. Now with this assumption, we are going to have a derivation for the efficiency. And first thing we have is the frame time. So that is nothing but the amount of time needed to transmit the standard fixed length frame. Again in Aloha we assume that the packets are of fixed length. Let me take L bits, right? L bits. The frame length is of L bits. L bits are there in the frame, right? Now frame time is what is the time taken to transmit this particular frame. So that is something we already know, the frame transmission time, something say similar term we already seen in our flow control mechanisms also. So what is the time taken to transmit the frame? And we know if capital B is the bandwidth of the medium, the total bandwidth provided by the communication channel, say B bits per second. What does it mean? In every 1 second of time, capital B number of bits can be transmitted by the particular medium, and to this medium the frame is being transmitted, right? So this capital B bits per second is the bandwidth of the communication media. So in every 1 second B bits can be communicated. Now what is the time taken to communicate transmit a single bit? It will be 1 by capital B second. Now frame transmission time means we assume that the frame is of L bits length. If the time taken to transmit 1 bit in the media is 1 by B second, then what is the time taken to transmit L bits? It will be L by capital B seconds of time, the unit. Okay, so that is frame time or frame transmission time, length of the frame divided by bandwidth of the underlying media, right? So this is something known to you. So that is that same frame transmission time we are assuming here also. Now at this point, let us assume that the new frames generated by the stations are well modeled by Poisson distribution. So what is Poisson distribution? I think I don't have time to explain what it is. Hope all of you are aware about it. If you don't know, please have a look into your mathematics probability some material or a textbook. You will understand what it is. So we have different distributions of that we are studying in our probability density function, like Poisson distribution, binomial distribution. So Gaussian distribution, those things. If you know it, please recollect. Otherwise, read it or still you are confused, you can assume. So I will tell you what is that distribution pattern. So according to Poisson distribution, we have a formulation. The probability of what is the probability of occurring, say x number of events to be successful. It is something like e raised to minus lambda raised to x by x factorial. So those who already know it will be familiar with the formula, others please refer it. And why it is taken to be of this model, why not binomial? For that you have to know the model little bit detailed, so that you can spend some time there. So for the time being, you can say that the distribution or the way in which in an Aloha protocol the frames are being generated can be modeled using the Poisson distribution. So in this particular formula, what is lambda? Mean of the mean or the average, right, of the distribution. So in so here we assume that the frames are being generated, the new frames are being generated by each station in Aloha protocol is modeled by Poisson distribution with the mean. So lambda is taken to be capital N. What is capital N? The number of frames per frame time. So why it is taken so? Because what is the time taken to transmit? The frame time is frame transmission time. Okay, what is the time taken to transmit a single frame? So we already seen like a Tt is equal to length of the frame divided by B, right? So if this is the time taken to transmit a single frame, now when you are transmitting your frame, so the total time you are spending is Tt. Now what you want is during this Tt amount of time, so that is somewhat vulnerable, right? If any other station is also, for example, suppose you started transmitting your frame at 10 a.m. Just for your understanding, I am taking like this, and Tt is say 15 minutes. So actually in reality they are in seconds or microseconds of time, but for giving an example I am taking like this. So the total time, from 10 a.m. to 10:15 a.m. you will keep on transmitting your frame, right? So now between this duration, if any other station also trying to, from 10:05, suppose another station also started transmitting the frame, what is going to happen? It will get collided with the some portion of your frame will be get collided with the some portion of the frame being generated by the other station, because all of them are depending on the same medium, right? Because A started transmitting at 10, the transition time of A is 15 minutes, say. During this 15 minutes of time, suppose B is also transmitting its frame, collision chances are high, right? So, not only B, say C, another machine can also transmit during this 15 seconds of time, or D, another machine. So like that, on an average, it is mean, not the total count, mean means on different time we will take this value and it will be taken average over it. So on an average, if n number of frames are being generated by different stations when you are trying to transmit your frame, so the time taken for you to transmit your frame is 15 minutes, and during those 15 minutes of time, when I conducted the experiment, I find out that 5 stations were transmitting. Okay, so 5. Now again I repeated the experiment during the same 15 minutes of time. When I am trying to send my station, I found that 10 other stations were transmitting their frame. And I repeated the experiment again, and during the same duration of time, some now in the third iteration I found like some 3 stations were transmitting. So you have to take its average, like 10 plus 15 plus 3. So that is the way you are deriving your n. So n means the average or the mean number of frames being generated by other stations during when you are transmitting your frame, or during the frame transmission time of your frame, right? So hope it is clear. So what is the time taken to transmit your frame? During that time you want others to be silent, means others should not send the data, then your frame is successful, right? So that is the only thing we have. If anyone else is transmitting within this 15 minutes, say, definitely it is going to collide with your frame. So that is something we call as vulnerable time, but actually it is not this 15. We have to consider some previous 15 minutes of time also, that we are going to see. Anyway, for the time being, let the vulnerable time be 15 minutes, then this is a scenario. So we are going to take a capital N to be the number of stations transmitting during the time of your frame transmission, okay, or the number of frames which are being generated during the transition time of your frame, okay, not number, the mean, okay. So you have to take the mean, okay. So the infinite population assumption is needed to ensure that n does not decrease as the users become blocked. So when the users are getting blocked, whenever there is collision, suppose A and B are trying, the data get collided, both will be in waiting stage. So that is a blocking stage. Similarly, C and D are getting tried, they are also in waiting stage. So in this example, all 4 are in waiting stage, right? So if you take that n, it will be something 0. So that should not happen. So that is why we are assuming like a infinite population. If 4 are in the waiting or in the blocked state, some other infinity minus 4, some other number of stations are still alive. In that way we are assuming to have the derivation. So these things are assumptions for the smooth derivation of the efficiency part. Okay, and that about it. Sorry, yeah. So we are assuming Poisson distribution, and you know what is the formulation of Poisson distribution. So the formulation of Poisson distribution is like a probability of, say, k number of success or x number of success is equal to E, the Euler constant, e raised to minus lambda. Minus lambda is the mean of the distribution. Here the mean is assumed to be capital N, e raised to minus n into lambda raised to, that is n raised to k, divided by k factorial. So like that the formula will be coming for the for your derivation. So if n is greater than 1, that means the user community is generating frames at a higher rate than the channel can handle. N greater than 1 means during your frame transition time, more than one stations are transmitting the data, right? So definitely chances of collision is high. So the data rate is something more than what the channel can handle without collision. Handle in the sense in a safe manner. So what we are expecting is the n to be some value between 0 and 1. So it so what we need is the number of stations who are transmitting during my frame transition time should be equal to 0. So or but here it is not that count. N is what is n here? Mean. So that is why it is taken to be a value between, because every time you can't because then it will be an idealistic situation, right? If I am saying that n is equal to 0, in every experiment I am getting the channel to be safe always. So that will be something different. That is not a contention algorithm then, that is something different. So as it is something, it is not, there is no predefined ordering, nothing, right? So definitely you can't assume n to be 0, because that is a very idealistic situation. Then we don't need a protocol at all, everything will work fine. So that is why we will for a reasonable throughput. Okay, so again we can't expect 100% throughput or efficiency. For a reasonable throughput, we can expect the value to be between 0 and 1, say 0.5, some value are okay. But if it is greater than 1, then definitely the efficiency is going to decrease further. So in addition to the new frames, the station also generate retransmission of the frame. So there are two cases sometimes. So when you count what is your n, the number of frames generated during the frame transmission time, right? So when you are transmitting your frame, on an average, mean number of frames which are being generated by other stations, and now this n can be as per this definition, n is we assume to be the new frames generated, but sometimes there will be retransmission of the older frames also, right? So for this mean, we need a different value. So let us take it to be g. Okay, so we just change the variable for incorporating the retransmission frames also. So the old frame which are being retransmitted and the newly generated frame. So that is what we assumed at this point to be n. The newly generated frames during the frame transmission time of your frame is n, as well as some of the old generated frame which are retransmitted right now. Together we are going to be represented by g as the mean number of such old as well as new frames combined. And still we are using the Poisson distribution with a mean of g. What is g? The sum of both. So okay, let us further assume that the old and new frames combined are well modeled by Poisson distribution with a mean of, so now we can't take it to be n, because in n fresh frames only we are counting, but g means it can be. So what is the relation between g and n? G can be greater than or equal to n. When is g is equal to n? G is equal to n means there is no retransmission, the situation, but if there is retransmission, definitely it will be something more than n. So that is why g in general will be greater than or equal to n. For more clarity, if the load is very low, right, then n will be approximately equal to 0, and there will be a few collisions and few retransmission. So load is low in the sense n is approximately 0. It is not like n is equal to 0. Low load, n is approximately 0. Chances of collisions are less, and chances of retransmission is also less. So when there is no retransmission, g will be approximately equal to n. So when there is no retransmission means things are going fine without any collision, or this actual n is nearly 0, right? So in that case, g and n both will be nearly 0. Hope it is clear. But in general case, at high load, definitely this collision chances will be more, and accordingly g will be strictly greater than n. Now the next thing is very important. Under all loads, I mean whether it is low load or high load, we can define the throughput. Yes, that is to be the offered load, that is g times the probability p0 of a transmission succeeding. Okay, so how you are going to define the throughput? Throughput S is defined to be a product of g into p0. What is g? This g. That is a number of frames considering the old as well as newly generated frame together generated on an average per the frame transmission time of your frame, right? So we can call it otherwise as offered load. So what is a load being offered by the network during your frame transmission time? Okay, so that is why it is having the name. So the same g only, so we can call it as the offered load, the load offered by the network when you are trying to transmit your frame. And this out of the average load to be g, what is the probability of success? Let it be P0, right, for a particular frame. The transmission being succeeding. So g number of frames were transmitted on an average during the frame transition time, and out of this g, P0 is taken to be the probability of success for a particular frame. So the throughput will be right now G into P0. Hope it is clear. Out of G, what fraction is successful? So that is going to define the throughput, right? So where P0 is the probability that a frame does not suffer a collision or it is successfully transmitted. So means every frame is getting this value, maybe some average probability value we are taking. G into P0 is going to define the throughput. So hope it is clear. Now what else? Now we are going to see some terminology called vulnerable period for the shaded frame. So something I already explained in the previous slide. So here, see, this is a frame you are trying to transmit, right? So suppose you started sending your frame at so the time frame we are starting say from 10. Let me take an example so that it will be clear for you. Let the T0 be 10 a.m. So see, I'm not taking any realistic values, just for your understanding, some time information only. Okay, so don't misunderstand these values. So T0, say we started transmitting at 10 a.m. and this T, what is T? This T is here, the frame transition time, that is length of the frame divided by B, that is the T. So the time taken to transmit a single frame, okay, so this time, let it be T, is equal to, let me assume it to be 15 minutes, right, 15 minutes. So T0 plus T, what will be 10 plus 15, so this will be 10 15, right. Now this T0 plus T plus another 15, so 2 T, so this will be some 10:30 10:30 a.m. whatever it is. Again 3T0 plus 3T, it will be 10:45. So like that the time you can assume. So in x-axis we are taking the time, y-axis different station and the frame. Now so right now your frame, you are it's in transit from 10:15 to 10:30, right? So whoever else is transmitting the frame from 10:15 to 10:30 is going to face a collision with your frame. For example, this particular frame started its transmission between 10:15 and 10:30. So that is why now maybe it started at this point. So some part of the frame actually escaped that window. But see, this much portion, the last portion of this frame is now overlapping. The time is getting overlapped with the some beginning portion of your frame. So this portion is going to get collided, right? So this 15 minutes we have to be very careful, in the sense, if during this 15 minutes if no one else is sending transmission something like this, your frame is going to get a success, in the sense there is no collision for the frame. But if someone else is transmitting during this 15 minutes of time, that is from T0 plus T to T0 plus 2T, definitely it is going to get a collision. Now another vulnerable period is like the previous 15 minutes, in the sense, if someone already started transmitting the frame from 10 a.m. to 10:15, right? So in between any if it is exactly at 10, then it is fine. But if it is like a 10 hours, say 1 minute, something like that, some portion of it will exceed this boundary, and something like this, you can expect a collision of the previously transmitted frame, the last portion of the previously transmitted frame with the beginning of your frame. So such chance is there. So totally we have to be careful with this 15 minutes and this 15 minutes, right? So 15 plus 15, this 30 minutes. So this is what we call as the vulnerable time. So in this example, what is vulnerable time? Vulnerable time is found to be 2 times frame transition time. Why it is two times frame transition time? This 15 minutes frame transition time, as well as the previous 15 minutes, the same 15 minutes. So both you have to be careful. So if someone else started transmitting 15 minutes before you, or someone else started transmitting 15 minutes once you started transmitting the data, on parallel with you, both are having chances to get collide with your frame. So during this 2T time, if you are sure about the fact that there is no other collision, definitely your information is going to get a success. So this is the vulnerable time. So we are going to see that. So now listen to the points. Let t be the frame transition time. If any other user has generated the frame between t0 and t0 plus t, that is the previous one, right? The end of that frame will collide with the beginning of your shaded one. In pure Aloha, a station is not going to listen to the channel before transmitting. So it has no way of knowing whether other station is already sending or not. So in that way, similarly, any other frame that started between t0 plus t, that is along with you, right? T0 plus t and t0 plus 2t is your window. If they are also transmitting within that window, or they are transmitting before your window. So here you can see that this is the previous 15 minutes or train transition time, and this is along with you. So both are going to be vulnerable. I mean, vulnerable period in pure Aloha is now found to be 2 times the frame transition time. So this is something you can remember as a formula here. Now the main part of the derivation, that is the channel utilization of the pure Aloha, we can derive like this. So the probability that k frames are generated during a given frame time in which g frames are expected. So our vulnerable time is actually 2t. So during that 2t, during the 2t vulnerable time, how many frames are getting generated, say let it be k, then that is going to decide the success of your frame, right? So k is the total number of frames that are generated during a given frame time. So what is the time taken to transmit your frame, that is t, unit of time. During that time, how many frames are totally generated? So this 2t is actually we have to consider, that we will consider very soon. Right now we are taking this t only. During the t unit of time, if k frames are actually generated, where g frames are expected means mean, right? Expected means mean, but actually only k are generated. So what is the probability that k are generated? Actually we want this k to be 0, so that is our intention, but we are going to model it using our Poisson distribution. So we know the formula of Poisson distribution. What is that? This lambda raised to x e raised to minus lambda by x factorial, something like that. You may studied it, the probability of x. So here x we want it to be k, right? So p of k will be and the lambda in our case is g, right? So g raised to k into e raised to minus g by k factorial. So hope you can compare with the standard formula. So something like this you are already knowing, or you please remember. So this is a formula of Poisson distribution, where lambda is the mean of the distribution, right? In our example, the mean is found to be g, and what is the probability of occurring x? In our case it is k, and that is given to be this lambda, that is g raised to this x. Instead of x I am taking k, then e raised to minus g divided by k factorial, right? So that is the formulation. So again, please be clear, like what is g? The expectation, the mean number of frames which are generated during your frame transition time. And we can't say that this is mean only, right, over different experiment. Now in a particular experiment, what is the probability of getting, say, k number of frames? So that provided the actual mean of the same experiment is g. So that is how the formula is derived. Hope it is clear. Okay, so that about it. Now, so if this is a formulation for k number of frames during the frame transition time of your frame, with the g to be the expectation, then tell me what is the probability of 0 frames during when you are transmitting. So when you are transmitting, 0 frames are being generated, means you are safe, you are getting a success, right? So for success it will be, so simply put k is equal to 0 in this formula, so that it will be, what is the probability that k is equal to 0? What will be it? It will be g raised to k is 0 into e raised to minus g divided by 0 factorials. Now what is something raised to 0 is 1, e raised to minus g will be e raised to minus g, and 0 factorial is 1 again. So it is e raised to minus g. So this is where you are going to get a success. Now in an interval 2 frame time long, the mean number of frames will be. So for that, so far we assumed the probability under Poisson distribution, the formula, everything, for a duration of t unit of time, but I already told you the actual vulnerable time in pure aloha. So the general formulation we made for t, right? But in pure aloha particularly what we are discussing now, but in slaughter aloha situation is different. In pure aloha the vulnerable time is actually not t, it is 2t, right? So during t unit of time the average number of frames is g. Now what about the 2t unit of time? The average number of frames will be 2g, right? So 2g. So in an interval of 2 frame, why 2 frame? Because for in pure aloha the vulnerable time for me to transmit my frame is 2 times the frame transition time. So again this t is found to be fixed, right? Something we already seen. We assume that all frames are of equal length, accordingly the frame transition time of all frames are equal. So what is my time? That will be the previous one's time also. So t into t, so 2 times, right? So during t unit of time the mean is g, then 2t unit of time the mean will be 2g. Accordingly during what is the probability of getting 0 frames in e raised to in t unit of time is e raised to minus g, then instead of g now we have 2g, and that is actual vulnerable time we are having. So the probability of no frames being initiated during the vulnerable time period, that is 2t, is now e raised to minus 2g. Why you are getting? Because during t time g is the average, then 2t time the average will be 2g, right? So accordingly it will change. Why you have to take a 2t time? Because vulnerable time in pure aloha is not t, it is 2t. Accordingly the formula variation will be there. Is it clear? Right. Now what is the formula for the throughput? Throughput something we already seen in the previous slide. It is the offered load g into probability of success, and that probability of success, success in the sense here, if no one else is transmitting during 2t time, definitely my frame is going to get a success. It is not going to get any collision, right? So the probability of success is p0, and that p0 is nothing but e raised to minus 2g. So that is from where we are getting this? We are getting this from the Poisson distribution and the modeling like this. So hope it is clear. So the throughput now will be the offered load into the probability of success, or in other ways the probability that no frames are generated during the 2t time, that is e raised to minus 2g, will be the throughput, right? Yes. Now in this formulation, so this throughput is otherwise it's going to give an indirect measure of the efficiency, right? So to get so this is a general formulation of the throughput or channel utilization or efficiency. In different names we can say, actually what we find out is throughput only, and throughput is going to give a indirect measure of what percentage of the channel is actually utilized. In other time it will simply go for weighting or efficiency, right? In any ways you can interpret this parameter. So this is a general formulation of that channel utilization. Now we want to find out the maximum throughput or maximum channel utilization, and to get maximum what you have to do, so you can if this is a function of in g, right? So when the function is will be getting a maximum, at maximum its derivative will be 0. So in that way you will get a value of g, and that you can substitute in s, you will get s max to be some value like this. Okay, we will derive this now, and accordingly the channel utilization of pure aloha will be 18%. So let me show you how to derive. So the maximum efficiency, so what we obtained is the S is equal to the channel utilization or throughput is equal to the offered load g into e raised to minus 2g. Hope this is clear for you, how you are getting e raised to minus 2g from the Poisson distribution. During the vulnerable time 2t, how many frames are generated? We have a formula, and in that formula what is the probability of getting that k to be 0, and that is what we obtained as e raised to minus 2g, and that is going to indicate the success. Hope it is clear. Now see, this is something actually what I have to find out is what is maximum S max, right? So how you will be getting this? S is now found to be a function of g, right? So what we want is what is max of it at S max. When S is equal to S max, what will happen? The derivative of this function, I mean S with respect to dg will be 0. So this is something you are studying in your mathematics. A function will be giving you the maximum value, and at maximum, at in positive or negative, whenever it is getting a maximum, means whether it is a positive max or negative max, its derivative will be 0. Okay, something like this you already know. and derivative will be 0 in the sense the derivative with respect to g, because the function is of g, right, into g into e raised to minus 2g is equal to 0. Now you know the formula for derivative, it's a product rule. How will you take the derivative? First into derivative of second, that is e raised to x, derivative will be e raised to x into the x derivative of x, that is minus 2, right, plus second into, that is e raised to minus 2g into derivative of first, that is dg by dg 1. Here this is g into e raised to x into derivative of x, that is a derivative of e raised to minus 2g, it is minus 2, right. Now second into derivative first, right. So this is equal to 0 at the maximum. Now you can take this e raised to minus 2g outside, and what remains, this will be 1 minus 2g, right. This is equal to 0. And now what I done is I taken this e raised to minus 2g outside. From here it will be minus 2g, here it is 1. 1 minus 2g is equal to 0, and definitely this e raised to something is not going to be 0. So to make this product 0, what have to be 0? It is 1 minus 2g, that is 0 actually, right. Now from this, what is g? It is found to be 1 by 2 or 0.5. So the function is getting a maximum value when g is equal to 0.5. right. So once you get the, so this is what we call as a stationary point, right, in mathematics. So once we get the stationary point, how to get the maximum value? You can substitute in the function g is equal to this particular value. So that is where it is going to get the maximum value, and now that will be g into, g is actually 1 by 2, right, g into e raised to minus 2g, e raised to minus 2 into 1 by 2. So that is maximum. So what is this? This will be minus 1. So this is 1 by 2e. And e is what? E is our Euler tangent, Euler constant, some value, that is something familiar to you. Again 2.7 sorry, what happened? 2.72, right, 718, some value like this. You can substitute and you will get it like 1 by 2 into 2.72. So just use calculator, you can see that it is something like 18.4%, right. So that you can verify. So hope the derivation is clear for you. So let me take a different color to highlight the things. Yeah, so what are all the things we seen? We know that this is the formula for the throughput, g into e raised to minus 2g. How we are getting it is clear. Now we are going to find out what is S max, and you know that at when a function is maximum, at that point its derivative will be 0. So we taken the derivative of S, that is g into 2 raised to be 0. First that product rule we applied, and we got at the maximum g is 0.5, and we substituted that value of 0.5 in the original function, that is g into it. So in this formula we substituted g is equal to 1 by 2, right, that 0.5, 1 by 2 into this one. So you are getting the maximum efficiency to be 18.4. So this is what we have seen in the previous slide. So at the maximum g is found to be 0.5, and the corresponding s is 1 by 2e, which is substituting the value of e to be 2.718. the value will be 0.184, which is 18.4%, right, 18.4% or approximately 18%. So that is efficiency. It's a very small number. So only that much efficiency is what the pure aloha can offer. Now we will see a variation of it, slotted aloha, in the next discussion, and we will see how it is achieving a better efficiency. And gradually we go for the media access control protocol with better efficiency. Thank you.